we are gonna be introducing the third wave. So we exactly have the example. So the presenter will be Simo. So Simo, come up to the stage.
Thank you very much. And I will start sharing my slides. And I don't talk at all. I just show you slides. No, I was kidding. I was kidding. Yeah, it's I'm talking about the DONINTO agency application. It's an application where you can actually bring improv skills with the application. Using that application, you can actually start using improv meta skills in your life, either at work or at home or with your hobbies or whatever you do in your in the flow of your everyday life. You can also try out applied improv missions, kind of secret missions in your life. That's in short what DONINTO is about. But before we go deeper into what DONINTO looks like and how it could be used in education, I'm referring to Giovanni Schilma's 9-grid. He's a researcher that has done a lot of work in Europe about like how arts can be applied in business life or in education life. So as Paul, kind of like taking a bit further what Paul was also talking about in his keynote, I think the first and easiest application of improvisation is, if you think of in education and your organization, is doing like entertaining shows about the themes like history or strategy or whatever the theme is in organization or in education world. We can do shows about that. We can kind of display the themes or the things as a performance in a sense. What about like difficult discussion with teacher and student? We can do a show about that, or we can do, you know, a show about learning or not learning, having difficulties in learning. That's maybe the easiest application. Then we can do trainings and workshops. Of course, we can teach like improv skills as communication skills in organizations or in schools, or as learning tools in that sense. So we can get a grip of how to learn, how to innovate faster and more efficiently with yes-anding, with improv skills, with applying improv skills. And of course, if you think of organizational change or organizational learning or organizational intelligence, if you think of the Ed Catmull's book, Creativity Inc., I think Pixar is a wonderful example of an organization that has integrated improv meta skills very naturally in the flow of their everyday work culture. So I strongly recommend that book because it's a beautiful example of how it could be done in a very large and profound level in organizations. And of course, if you think of individual change, if you think of the kind of the third wave kind of goal is to change people's behaviors permanently, to adopt a mindset of yes-anding, a mindset of, you know, being open to change with meeting other people or meeting new things. You let go and be prepared to change and be resilient in your life. And if you think of in both in organization and individual level, so we are now talking about changing practices and changing processes. So learning processes or work processes, we are actually changing the ways we work or we learn with applied improvisation. And in the end, we are changing cultures. And that's probably that's why we keep saying in applied improvisation conferences that let's change the world with improvisation. So that's the ultimate goal, to make the world a better place for all of us, more inclusive, more belonging, more equal, so that every one of us could be experts and learn from each others by communicating in a constructive way instead of competing way. And I really love this Gilmore's work, this 9th grade, because it shows really concretely the depth of where we can go with applied improvisation. Not only workshops, not only performance level, not only entertainment. So if you think of learning and these concepts like flipped classroom or 70-20-10, they are quite advanced methods of kind of renew the concept of how we learn. Is like instead of like being led by authoritative teachers in flipped classroom, the teacher is just serving the process and answering questions and the students are in charge of the learning process. And in 70-20-10, most of the learning is doing in the flow of work, like trying out, experimenting with things and learning by doing. And 20% by learning is doing, consulting peers, like having discussions with your fellow workers or fellow students, and well, how would you do this? Oh, I tried this and it doesn't work. And 10% only is formal training, like lecturing or watching videos or reading books. And that's a very hot subject in organizational field right now, the 70-20-10. So DONINTO is kind of based on these, like it's not about that somebody is lecturing or somebody's teaching, but we are just giving prompts to people to try out in the flow of their everyday life. So repeating some of the things what Paul just said, like in a quite a little bit different twist. In my experience, the facilitators of applied improvisation have maybe all started with one-off trainings, gigs. We were invited in organizations to, hey, we should have, we are having a seminar day, do something nice in the end or in the beginning, or have a, come to talk to us for 15 minutes or 1 hour to how to apply improv in our work, or do something funny, which is the awfulest request in my taste. So some of us have managed to actually educate their clients, our clients, to also buy little processes, like training processes of 2 to 4 modules that you can, after one training day, you can give a task of observations and experimentations, and then come to the second training day and then debrief what happened when you tried this out, and then continue is as a mini process, a training process. And some of us have succeeded to also to be hired to do longer processes also with organizations, like behavioral and process and culture change processes. And I'm one of those lucky guys that have done a couple of longer processes with a couple of clients, and they are really, really rewarding and interesting. The results have been amazing, and I would say that it is really possible to change cultures with applied improvisation. And DONINTO is kind of helping with all that, with the longer processes, because you can use the DONINTO as as a standalone product or training platform, or you can use it combined with your workshops as a trainer. And it's kind of disguised in a playful manner as a secret agent game. I love also the word agency, because it's an office for agents, but also agency in English means the ability to actually to have an influence, to have influence on the world. So how does it work? It's really simple. You can have a video instruction it's a web app. And you can use it with all the devices you have, with desktop computer, with laptop, with a tablet, or with a phone. And you can watch a video instruction or read a text instruction. And it's really small here, like this is one of the missions described here. So it's just a simple suggestion of try this out today or whenever you want. And when you have tried this out, whatever it is, there are different missions, come back to the app and report the outcomes. And after you have reported the outcomes, you can see the other agents' reports. You can see what other people have, achieved with this mission. And now we are going to do one of the missions. The first mission in the agent program, I'm asking you actually to open your cameras if you can, because this is all about making eye contact. And we can do it right here, all of us, in a gallery view. And I'm introducing Shades Open, Shades Closed, which is the first mission. It's a really small thing, which actually with a big effect. So I'm demonstrating now. I'm now talking to you with my shades closed. So if you watch my eyes, you can see that my eyes are not revealing anything, that they are kind of shades closed here. And now the shades are open. Can you see the difference? Now my eyes are kind of like, open. I'm letting you to see me. Well, this is my mood. This is how I am right now. And now I am asking you guys to check that your head is as big as mine. Adjust your presence, your head size. And then could you watch each other's in the gallery view with shades closed and check other people's eyes that, do I see shades closed? Yes, I do, actually. All of your eyes, except Jane actually is a little bit shades open. Try to close them. And now open your shades, look at each other's like shades open. Try to just imagine that I'm letting people to see me. Yes, I can see the difference. I can see the difference. Yes, and shades closed again, just as an exercise. Good. And then shades wide open. I can see the difference. Yes, thank you very much for making this experiment with me. So in DONINTO, this exercise is explained by video and by text. And then the agents are prompted to go out and try conscious, like tryouts of this shades open, shades closed in different contexts. And I have had reports, for example, a nurse in a big hospital in Finland reported that I tried this while walking on a corridor in our hospital. Normally, nobody says hello. It's a big hospital and everybody's just ignoring everybody when they walk in the hospital corridors. I tried to walk the corridor, shades open, and everybody said hi to me. So this is how DONINTO works. It's like giving a simple task that try this out and see what happens and report it back to the app. And I've received so wonderful feedback from people trying this out, like with their families. For example, there was this insurance company we tried piloting with DONINTO, and the workers reported that they tried this out at home with their families. And then they were like, oh my God, my kids did this, they just thought this was natural, and we adults had difficulties. Why is it? And like lots of like beautiful reflections. In DONINTO missions, we are not saying what to achieve, what's the goal with these tasks, only giving the tool. See what happens if you try this out. And I think that's the key point. It's not lecturing, it's not teaching, it's just giving you a thing to experiment with. And then I think the learning comes from the debrief. When the agents are debriefing what they find out, trying out these tools, and then they see what other people have achieved, then they can say, oh, this happens with many people, or how could that agent have that outcome with this? I'm going to write a comment and ask. So then it's all about peer-to-peer learning, and everybody is actually an expert in that sense, in the end game of DONINTO. So the methodology behind DONINTO missions that are there already, they are mainly derived from applied improvisation, but also positive psychology, mindfulness, facilitation, coaching, transaction analysis. There's one mission about that. And also Kokoro no Iro, which is Hikaru's handwriting behavioral tendencies based on Jung's work. So, and it's very close to DISC model, that one. So what else? My question is, what else could be? If you want to open your mic and if you have an idea, what else could be put in, please feel free to comment. Or write in the chat. I see thoughtful faces. Oh, can you, I have some missions I used in the class that you would be welcome to adapt or steal. Oh, thank you, Doug. And also you are free to very soon, if you want to, Doug, you can put them inside DONINTO just by yourself, because we are currently coding the easy upload so that any trainer actually can put their own missions inside DONINTO. So I don't have to steal them. You can own them and share them via DONINTO if you want to. I think that anything actually goes, as long as it's building psychosocial safety. I think that's the only rule that I have with DONINTO, is that we are not endangering psychosocial safety with the missions. They cannot be pranks on somebody else's expense. They must be constructive. They must be like building up psychosocial safety, because if we think of the deepest forms of learning and change, they are not possible without psychosocial safety. And Mamiko was writing that fitness and health management, of course, yes. And if you think of mindfulness, like breathing exercises, there are a couple of those already there. So that's kind of well-being and physical aspect already there, and it seems to work very well. So instead of like building social stress, we should go to the yellow, like loving kindness. Actually, loving kindness metta meditation is already there. As a mission. So it could be like well-being of self, or also like inviting other people to make exercises with you. I see psychological safety as a water level because we all have like underwater kind of rocks. We all have those, and we know some of them, and some of them are maybe subconscious, but we don't have to actually know them all if we just add water of psychosocial safety enough so we can swim over them. I've noticed that actually personal traits, if you think of like people that have social strategies, like being an introvert, like, you know, being like distancing themselves, or people that are very talkative, those things are actually evening up when psychosocial safety is high. The silent people can talk, and the loud people can be more silent and listen more. Yeah, I can see the chat is alive. There's a lot of things happening on the set. Again, different hidden teams must contribute to achieve something. You don't know what the other teams are doing, but you have to discover the effects. I love that. Like, if you think of the team that uses DONINTO, and everybody knows that we are all DONINTO agents, you could also guess like, what mission are you on right now? You could also make it a guessing game in that sense. So how DONINTO and IFA are already collaborating is that this is exactly the same model I use with my process trainings, is that I have a training day. And then after the first training day or half day or 2 hours online or whatever, I give the students missions with DONINTO, that go to DONINTO and pick up the missions that inspire you, or then I might give 3 missions. Please check these 3 and report them back. So it's a kind of it's a learning tool combined with workshops. Maybe that's the most natural and easy first step to use DONINTO. And if you use it, like, you can, what I've noticed, that it's easier to sell actually a series of workshops when you have a digital tool also connected to it, because it's like HR is really appreciating that, because it's like you don't have to get people to the trainings because they can learn in the flow of work, for example, in organizations, and we just have to find a way how to get this into schools also. We have had one pilot in university here in Finland, and there's another pilot just started in Japan in university level, which Hikaru is leading. So I will show you some of the results of the Finnish academic pilot now. So these were the feedback from Aalto University students. It was an international bunch, and the training was, the course was called Creative Teamwork. We had 2 training days, and in between, the students were doing 5 tasks of 5 missions of DONINTO. And the ones who weren't able to actually participate in the live training days, they were given a couple of more DONINTO missions. So they used only the application. And these were the excerpts of their feedback. The second one came from actually an Indian young man that actually said that he wasn't able to actually attend the workshops. He only used DONINTO for 3 weeks. And he said that it raised my confidence level. Because now I know why people react like that when I behave like this. And I'm free to change. And he said it really raised my confidence level. And there was this one female student from Finland who said that I have never had such a meaningful conversation with my parents ever until now when I tried the DONINTO mission with them. And one of the students said that I recommended this to my mother, and I asked that it was an interview that I had with her, and I asked that why did you recommend the app to your mother? Because she's coming home every day and complaining of her workmates. I think DONINTO could help her in that problem. So when I asked those students that, did it change your thinking or did it change your behavior? They said, all of them said both. So it seems like it's a powerful tool for change. And it seems like if you think of a trainer perspective or a teacher perspective, it really, it's a really cool tool to add into your repertoire. It's easier to sell longer projects and to design larger processes, also like to design and sell them. And also it's a way of collegial sharing. When you are sharing your missions, your exercises and tips, and of course it educates us all. So then the trainers and teachers can be learners too, in that sense. And if you think of course, this is a commercial app. It has to be, because the application just to keep it running, it's costing money, and to design it further is costing money. So it has to be that there has to be a way of getting some income. And it's all in progress, a work in progress. And the future vision of DONINTO is very simple. It's like there are already like more than 60 missions, because this is not including, I think, Hikaru, you have 12 or 15 missions.
I think more than, 4 missions each color. So 60 missions. 16
missions more than 60. So it's like 76 missions already. And phase 2, we are coming to phase 2, and we are inviting global trainers to join in and upload more content. But I think the phase 3 is the kind of the beautiful dream I have. Because already in the Aalto University students, one student wrote in their report, like mission report, what happened, what are the outcomes. She wrote that, actually, I have another version of this mission, and it goes like this. And I'm hoping that that would be happening in the end, that anybody can actually upload their own versions of the missions, and people could really teach and learn from each other's. That's my dream with DONINTO. So I'm now asking Hikaru to send you to breakout rooms with for 3 or 4 people, and feel free to discuss or design your own mission or missions. What could be your mission if you think of like, and you have like a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes time to actually to try to design your own missions. How does that sound?
Okay, so now I have arranged another breakout rooms. So meet up your new members, friends, and create a new mission. Okay.
Them.
Yeah, that's totally cool, Jane. But if what you have heard is like seems interesting, we can also talk in Finnish afterwards. Like have a chat afterwards, yes, in Finnish. Course. Yes. Mm.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Any nice missions you want to share?
Yeah,
like
I want to
hear. Any brilliant ideas you can write on the chat, or just Open your mouth.
We had one, watch people walk for a day and notice how their walk is different than your walk.
Good one.
If you can get away with it, imitate their walk. See if you can walk like them.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Observation is always the first step. Like many things, it's the first.
Yeah. And then we continued it to like to take it in your body and how you can feel it, the other person's, which way am I? The other person's kind of like sensing it. And then also if you go to groups or discussions, then in those also kind of like taking steps to that.
I love that. That's beautiful. Watching people walk and embodying it.
It's a way of building empathy without scolding. Be more empathetic, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also that could be a segue to status behavior, status work. That could be a segue to accepting body language, or whatever could come after that. Anything else?
Yes, in our group with Nadine and who was the third person? I can't see her here. The suggestion was to just spend a day complimenting people, genuinely, finding a genuine reason to compliment someone. Could be a stranger or a friend, and part of that could also be like in a group, say for instance a staff meeting, is to publicly compliment or praise another person who did a good job, credit someone for doing a good job on some task. But yeah, just take a day to just compliment people.
That's a really cool one.
It feels really good. Yeah.
Cool one. And also, like, if you think of like good deeds or spread the good things, like there's myriads of variations of that. Like design your own mission, how to do good to random people. Like the random acts of kindness is actually one of DONINTO missions. So it's very close to this. And yes, really, we all know that, hey, we could design missions that make the world a better place. And I think everybody can, imagine missions like that. And so I'm showing you the design. I'm finishing soon. This was a proposal we gave to Helsinki, the capital of Finland, to Helsinki School District, that we could have a kickoff with teachers and then make a survey of belonging. It's a survey that measures that how much the students feel belonging in their surroundings, in their classroom. And then have the students try out DONINTO missions, and then have a halfway meeting for teachers. And so the teachers are kind of prompting and instructing and taking care of the process with their classes. And then the teachers are actually prompting in the second phase that the students to design their own missions, like we did here. And then in the end, we are doing the belonging survey again, and then debriefing the teachers. And the students might be willing to actually to continue as secret agents after that too, if they want to. And guess what the reaction was? The pedagogic expert took a look of this proposal, and they said that we are not doing anything in secret in schools. We cannot do this. So that's the level of bureaucracy in the Finnish school system. So we are trying again. And my question is, let's imagine how DONINTO could be used and implemented in education. Is there something else we could do to make it work? And what else could happen? So let's have just a couple of minutes, like, we are ending in a couple of minutes, but if you have any ideas, write into the chat or open your mouth and let's have a short discussion all together about like what ideas you might have.
The
Okay.
first thought that occurs to me is, rather than trying to go to the administrators of the schools, gather together a group of teachers.
Yes.
So they become advocates within their own system for.
I love the anarchistic sound of that.
Yes.
I'm an anarchist.
And I am too. Yeah, I took a liberty of like, because I can do anything in the classroom. So I started, talking to Simo to create that application. And because I'm also a behavioral psychologist and a profession, so we have created this application on a smartphone. So you now have the selections. So what I'm going to be doing, the April is the time that the school starts in Japan. So, and I'm going to introduce Kokoronoiro, the behavioral tendencies, for a month. And after that, I'm going to have the students, there are like 70 of them or 100 of them actually, to give it a try, to choose some of the missions from this application. And I gave the report.
And here's the conference gift. So you can go to this address and use the secret code DONE, and you can open up all the missions that are there, both Hikaru's Kokoro no Iro missions and in Japanese and English, and also the English and Finnish missions you can find there. And it asks you the secret code DONE. If you sign in using your code for the second time, it might prompt you that your code is already in use. Just ignore the message. It just says you that it should say that welcome in again, but there's a glitch. It has been there for a while, and I don't know why we can't erase that. But don't just click the exercise and just go forward and ignore that message. Don't be scared, because your code is valid. It's in use, but the message just prompts you to be doubtful about that, and sorry about that. But that's all I have to say, and I will write also in the chat so you can copy it from the chat.
Well, actually, I put the www.app, but it didn't work. So I changed it. No, so the second one is the correct one. So
good.
It didn't work.
Thank you, Hikaru. Thank you, Hikaru.
Sure. And the secret code is done.
Yes, in the chat. Hikaru. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Simo. Do you have any questions to Simo? We have about 5 minutes. Otherwise, we can go to break time a little bit. Okay. So
how much time do we have on break, Hikaru?
Well, I was gonna say 10 minutes, but but if we go to the break right now, maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's good. Let's have a 15-minute break. It's 55 now, so let's continue 10 after the hour.
Okay. Okay. So 15 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna have a 15-minute break. So please come back in 15 minutes to hear. And if you have any questions, you can write in the chat. And if you want to work with Simo and create a new missions, you should do that. It's really fun. Okay, so grab something to eat, grab something